Fastball hit in the air to left field. That's deep. Back goes Chavez back near the wall, leaping, and he made the catch. He took a home run away from Roland, trying to get back to first Edmonds. He's doubled off, and the inning is over. Andy Chavez saved the day. Eli throwing into traffic on the sideline. They're going to rule it a catch by Manningham.
Sanchez, corner of the end zone. For the second time today, Santonio Holmes on the receiving end of a touchdown. This one with 10 seconds to play.
This is WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Today on 3rd and 4, he'll look to throw. End zone, more! Touchdown Jets! Mike White, how about him?
How about Mike White, the new Jets quarterback, making quite the statement in his first start of the year? With that, we welcome you to the Tuesday edition of WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Your host for today, Joshua Umahi, joined by Brayton Daniello, Franz Compere, and Nico Weech will be here in a little bit. Hey, Brayton.
Well, don't ask me, because I know you're going to ask me.
No, I'm going to ask you about your good sports team right now, the New York Jets.
Okay, well, fair enough.
How are you? First off, how are you today, and how are your vibes off that win?
My vibes off the Jets are great. I'm going to tear into the Rangers later because they're quite frankly not worthy of anyone's time, and they're not even a playoff team. But it was a refreshing win Sunday. It was refreshing to watch. I watched from work, but Mike White looked so graceful. It was good to get the bad taste out of my mouth from watching Zach Wilson not being able to throw not even a slant, a screen pass to Braxton Berrios or literally any Jets player. So
yeah, no, he was tripping.
Good. Yeah,
Zach Wilson looking like sad boy vibes on the bench.
Good
yesterday. Good for him. Good for him. Franz Compere though, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to see the Jets do their thing. At least one New York team has to be doing good, so I can't complain too much.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I know the Giants are still 7-4.
Yeah.
They got their hands full coming up this weekend against the Commanders, who are right on their heels. But, we're going to start with the Jets today. But before we do, 516-572-7440. That's the number to join the show. And let's get to it. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. But the Jets, they won big, 31-10 over Chicago. Darrelle Revis was inducted into the Jets Ring of Honor halftime. So it was good for the Jets. Good to see the Jets rather win that game on Darrelle Revis. It's such a great New York Jet on that day. But, the big story here is Mike White. Let's not dance around it. Mike White, because if you're looking at the Jets and their fans, you lose in New England, the whole madness with the Zach Wilson press conference. We've gone over it over and over and over. You're looking kind of hopeless. I mean, you're talking about, you're finally... Now, I don't want to say finally because I don't want to just project the Jets' past onto their present right now, but a great start, but then you find yourself in last place again after the Patriots sweep you. So you're like, it's not a good situation for Mike White to be the savior or try to be the savior to the New York Jets, but then you watch the game Sunday and he hits Garrett Wilson for a touchdown. He hits Elijah Moore. Out of nowhere, Elijah Moore is getting the ball again.
I bet he wants to be here now.
Yeah, I bet he does. I bet he'd never wish he sent out that trade request. Or maybe, he doesn't care because he feels like he was right all along about Zach Wilson, about not getting the ball. He looks like a prophet right now and obviously scores that touchdown in the third quarter, really put that game away. Obviously, the Jets tack on a rushing touchdown after that. But Mike White, what can you say? 300 yards, multiple touchdowns. And I want to ask you, Braden, as the Jets fan in the room. Again, it's a tale of the NFL is so week to week because last week it's all like doom and gloom with the New York Jets and Giants for that matter. But you fast forward to a week later now, Mike White hoops, and you're looking at the rest of the schedule. You're finally back in playoff positioning. Like, what's the feel as the Jets fan today after that Mike White performance?
Well, like I said, obviously it's refreshing because we didn't have to watch Zach Wilson play like complete garbage. I have White's final line. He went 22 for 28, and not even he went 22 for. He looked comfortable throwing the ball. It's not like when we saw Zach, like I mentioned, not be able to hit a screen pass to anyone, just making poor decisions play after play. Nah, he looked comfortable, and I think now, well, if you want to go into Wilson's future with the team, that's a completely different story. But I'm fine today. I mean, it's almost the same boat as the way most Giants fans are feeling about Daniel Jones, because I want to be happy the team's winning now, and I think a part of me is, but I'm still asking myself who's going to be the quarterback of this franchise and whether they try and they're not going to go for it again in the draft. I can't imagine Joe Douglas tries it again after missing on Darnold and now perhaps Zach Wilson, depending on how, because the only way Wilson is going to get his job back is if Mike White starts to suck, which I don't want to see. Or White gets hurt, because we know he had an injury last year also. But the long term I'm less optimistic about, because we still don't know what's happening at QB. But I can't ask for anything more out of, especially coming off the coin flip was wrong finally. So that's a miracle in itself.
Thank God, yo, because I don't want to hear anybody talking about the coin flip says.
Well,
I don't care about.
Anthony's going to keep talking about it.
I'm just so happy. Like, I'm happy that Jets won. Don't get me wrong. I like seeing the local teams do well, but I'm so damn happy that coin flip is just. You don't got to talk about it anymore.
It was only wrong 13 weeks in.
I'm a little sad. That it's wrong.
Man, get out of here. Ain't nobody trying to talk about a coin flip the rest of the year. Like, nonetheless, it's a good one for the Jets. I agree with everything you're saying, Braden. And you look at the upcoming schedule. Obviously, they play at the 9-2 Vikings this week.
If they can beat the Vikings, I'm going to go off. I'm going to start losing it. I'm going to start actually partying already, like champagne everywhere.
You know the weird thing about that game, though? Because, like me personally, I've been so hot and cold on Minnesota. I know they're 9-2, and I know they had a semi-impressive win against Mac Jones and the Patriots on Thanksgiving night, but they win every single game by one score. And when they've lost, like the two games they've lost, they got their ass kicked.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the deal with this team is. Like, I know the Vikings are 9-2, but no Jets fan or any NFL fan period should be looking at the Jets going into Minnesota and being like, oh, the Jets are big underdogs in that game. Like, they can't win that game. Like, no, the Vikings are very beatable despite that record, I feel like.
I feel the same way. I feel the same exact way, being that the Jets have the defense that they do and that Kirk Cousins, he's the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. He's been doing his thing, but honestly, I think if there's a defense that can stop Kirk Cousins, it's definitely the Jets defense. So I wouldn't write the Jets off. And if they start the game how they did against the Bears, where they got Mike White going, like they're running the ball a bit, throwing the short passes, getting him comfortable with the game. If they could start that game out just like how they did against the Bears and warm Mike White up, I think if he does what he has to do, they could walk out there with the W, because obviously the defense is going to hold it down.
With the Jets this season, I like Franz brought it up. It really, and we've talked about it really the last couple of weeks, it comes down to the offense, because let's face it, this defense is going to give you a chance. They're going to have bad games, but this defense is going to give you a chance to win week in and week out. And we've seen that since, week 3 against Cincy? And even that Joe Flacco was at QB, and their only offense came from Greg Zuerlein. But no, and like you said, this is what the Jets need to do. They're not going to do it every week. But you just need enough offense, and we saw it against teams like a team like Buffalo is a great example. You're not gonna stop Josh Allen. It's not gonna happen. But if you limit him and then get just enough offense to win the game, that's how they won against Buffalo a couple weeks ago, 20-17.
Yeah.
Now the Vikings, obviously, I don't think they have an offense as good as Buffalo. I know they outdueled them, but Buffalo still has a better offense. But it really, like I said, the defense will give this team a chance to win. What I like to see Sunday, obviously Garrett Wilson, 2 touchdowns. He went for 95 yards, 5 receptions. Elijah Moore, like you mentioned. Who saw, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Who saw Jets rookie Zonovan? Is that how you pronounce it, Josh?
I think
Zonovan Knight.
Zonovan Knight, yeah.
Rushing for 69 yards out of nowhere on 14 carries.
His first carry went for 17.
Yeah.
That's a great way to just start your career.
What do you think James Robinson's feeling right now?
I don't know.
Being a healthy scratch.
That's tough. I mean, obviously the Jets didn't give up that much to justify playing him no matter what. But, I mean, it's still a 5th-round pick or a 6th-round pick. It's conditional, so it can be either or depending on how things shake out. But Listen, I like what Robert Saleh and this coaching staff is doing with this roster. It's like, I don't care where you were drafted. I don't care, how much draft compensation we gave up to get you. I don't care how much we're paying you. This is, you play well, you play. It's merit based. You earn the time you get on this Jets team. So you see so many teams just ignore that philosophy. It's like, yeah, this guy's playing well, but we're also paying this guy $20 million.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter as much. We got to get the guy that's getting paid the ball and get him an opportunity. No, the Jets are like, no, we don't care. If you're not playing well, if you're like Zach Wilson, if you're not producing like James Robinson, hit the bench.
Yeah. And like when you look at this Jets team, like with the stuff that's been going on with Zach, and like you would think like these players are getting frustrated, chemistry's messed up in the locker room and all that. They still found a way to come out Sunday and dominate. Like I feel like they didn't just play good; they dominated. They did what we expected them to do. Like they're 466 total yards compared to 292 from the Bears. Mike White went absolutely crazy, 308 passing yards. They had 158 rushing yards compared to the Bears, 127. They averaged 7.5 yards a play. like 7.5 yards.
You
a
look
play
at last week,
good.
I was like, this is everything compared to nothing. It's like, listen, and like I said, I don't know what happens with Zach Wilson from here. I really don't. And you know what? You look back, and I was talking with Dom about it last week, but this is why the Jets are so hesitant to take a quarterback in the draft, especially in the first round. Like, if you want to try and hit on like a late rounder, like I know Lamar Jackson was drafted late in the first round, or like in the mid rounds, like but because Sam Darnold had a built-in excuse. He had a it wasn't even a built-in excuse. It was a good one. You had a terrible head coach who completely not only destroyed the quarterback, he destroyed the structure of the team. But don't get me started.
He's back. Don't
give
worry.
me another reason to be pessimistic again. But it's like we always say, like Zach Wilson doesn't have any of that because, like Josh alluded to, I love what Robert Saleh is doing with this team. I really do. And if Zach wants to be the guy, he has to show me more than 77 passing yards last week or the other week against New England. It's not going to fly. And you had, it got to the point where, like we alluded to last week also, they might not even trust him. And now, depending on Mike White, listen, the only way, like I said, the only way Zach gets another shot is if he gets hurt or Mike White starts playing like trash. But now you look to the offseason, and I don't know if Zach Wilson comes out of this offseason a Jet, because he might not even play another game as a Jet, because if I want Mike White to keep doing good, I want him to succeed because then the team will succeed. But you go into the offseason, this team, if they're not convinced with Wilson, which they benched him, so they obviously aren't, then they're going to be looking to move for a quarterback. And I don't know if Wilson's going to be going back for one, or maybe they look to add it through free agency. But regardless, Wilson, in my opinion right now, and I could be wrong about this, and I want to be wrong because I don't want to waste another top draft pick. But if you're to ask me right now, if Zach Wilson, do you think he has another game as a Jet? My answer is no. I don't.
I agree.
I don't.
I agree. And I said this last week, but you're looking at Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf territory for Zach Wilson. And before anybody jumps on me and it's like, oh, but Jamarcus Russell and Ryan Leaf, they're complete, like they got opportunity after opportunity. Hold up. Because Jamarcus Russell had 25 starts. Ryan Leaf had 18 starts. Zach Wilson's right in the middle with 20 starts. And the stats are extremely comparable. So I think if there's any Jets fans, and I know there are some out there that are like, they're not completely out on Zach Wilson, you got to wake up a little bit, because you had a fifth-round guy in Mike White look a lot better. Just look so much better.
He looked comfortable. Compared to, you look at the game against New England, and you look at the way Zach the way he played, the way he threw, nothing about that screen comfortable. I'm watching Mike White the other day with the water coming. It's like I was watching a movie, Josh. It's like I was in Hollywood. The water's coming off his helmet. He's throwing the ball. So I wanted to cry. It was literally, it was so beautiful. I was like, I was laughing at my workplace watching Mike White throw 60 yards, not 60, but like a 40-something yard touchdown to Elijah Moore. who is probably enjoying this the most, by the way, because now he looks like a genius. If there was one thing, not even the most Jets thing to happen, but the worst thing that happened to Zach Wilson coming into this week was a touchdown to Elijah Moore, and it went for I think 45 yards around. I got to look it up. But
that's the one we played to start the show.
Yeah.
And I'm going to welcome in Nico with this point. Like, we brought it up yesterday. Like, how happy you saw the Jets players were on the sideline after that touchdown. You can't convince me that there wasn't any, like, showing up Zach Wilson involved in that. Like, they were definitely like, we want you to see how much we root for Mike White and how much we hate you, pretty much.
I'm starting to think Zach Wilson's more like early season Matthew Stafford right now. If you're catching what I'm saying.
I'm not.
No?
No.
Okay, we'll just move on.
Josh, back to your point, Josh, about the people that aren't out on Zach Wilson, and there are people that I know, unfortunately, that aren't still. And here's the thing, because, Dom and you and probably Nico also think that I enjoy being right about all of this. I don't want to be right. I told my friend when I was driving home from work the other night, I was like, I want to be wrong about Zach Wilson. I want to be coming in January talking about how Zach Wilson is the guy and he's taking the Jets to the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship game. But he's shown me nothing to believe that that's going to be the case. Mike White has shown me, on the other hand, in one game, he has shown me more than Zach Wilson showed me probably in any game this season. And that's a problem. And also the people don't want to be wrong about this because of where he was taken. If you take Zach Wilson to the 5th or 6th round, nobody cares. But because he was taken 2nd overall, because the Jets have such an illustrious history of drafting quarterbacks and completely destroying them, although Wilson probably destroyed himself compared to like a Sam Darnold or a Geno Smith or Mark Sanchez. They don't want to be wrong. They don't want this to be the end, but all signs are pointing in that direction, unfortunately.
Like, you guys might call me crazy, but well, first off, you guys know I'm a Giants fan, but I believe that the Jets are not done with Zach Wilson yet because, this is his 2nd year?
Yeah.
Exactly. And Mike White's been in the league since 2018. So Mike White, you're saying he looks comfortable, but that's expected from a guy like Mike White to be comfortable in a game. When you're comparing yourself to a 2-year player who's obviously been in struggles. I feel like we expected Mike White to come out there and do that because of that the couple years that he does have on Zach. And like Braden was saying, like, the Jets obviously don't want it to be over because of where Zach was taken. So I feel like that they might give it another year just because Zach is like so early on in his career that they don't want to just throw out their early 1st round pick just yet. So I feel like although Mike White had a good game or whatever, you don't think Mike White is the future of your franchise. You still believe that deep down it's Zach. So you don't want to throw that fully idea of Zach is not going to be a Jet next season out because
maybe
that's just me though.
But Franz, that's a good point. But here's what's going to screw Zach in the end. Normally, the Jets haven't been good in a decade. I know that. I've been watching them. It's been a rough 10 years. There's no way around it. But normally with second-year quarterbacks, and a lot of second-year quarterbacks, is you have a team that's still growing, that isn't going to be near the playoffs. The problem that we're running into now as Jet fans is, we don't want to give up on Wilson, but the potential of being 6-4 at a potential playoff spot is blinding our side of that. So it's either do we play Wilson and maybe suffer and not make the playoffs and waste the season, or do we play for the long run for a guy that we really don't know what he's capable of, and he might be the guy. Not that he is, he might be. That's the problem.
You're right.
Interesting question, definitely, but we do have a caller on WHPC Sports Talk. First one of the day. Caller, who are you? Where are you calling from? What you want to talk about?
Hey, guys, it's Frankie from Flushing. How are you?
What's up, Frankie?
What's up, Frankie?
How you doing, Frankie?
All right, pretty good. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
I'm a Giants fan, but you're talking about the Jets and Zach Wilson. The quarterback, what's his name? Mike
White.
Mike MFN White.
Mike White, right. He had a great game against Chicago. Chicago's really no defense. I mean, you can't hang your hat on that game. I think the Jets are in pretty good shape all the way around, defensively, offensively. I think their next move is to just go out there and get that top-line quarterback and stop playing around with these draft pick guys. You're ready to put a established quarterback in there and you'll win.
You're right, Frankie.
Yeah, listen, right, and like we were just alluding to, I think there's a lot of people, and Franz alluded to it also. We don't want to give up on Zach Wilson, and I want to be wrong about him, but well, like I said, we're at a crossroads, Frankie. If we're as Jets fans, we're at a crossroads because we don't want to waste this season trying to prove that Zach might be the guy, but also at the same time, we don't want to give up on our top draft pick. Now, as for the offseason, I'm going to be honest with you, Frankie, I don't see him surviving. I don't see him getting past this offseason solely for the reason, like you just mentioned. This team, you look at the coaching staff, you look at the defense, that really has no weaknesses in hindsight. The weakest player might be LaMarcus Joyner, and that's saying a lot. An offense that has key guys like Elijah Moore when apparently Zach Wilson is not throwing to him, shocker. Garrett Wilson, who's proven himself at Ohio State. Breece Hall, who I'm hoping he'll come back stronger than he started this prior season. I'm hoping he'll come back stronger next season. The offensive line is suspect. The problem that I was having with, you look at the games like New England, why people bash Zach Wilson, you can talk about the O-line all you want. The O-line isn't the reason they lost that game. They lost that game because of the poor quarterback play. So, right. and like you mentioned, this is a team that's a quarterback away from maybe not even being a playoff. They might be a Super Bowl contender if you get a legitimate quarterback in there. So, and that's what I think they're going to do. I don't see Zach Wilson surviving this offseason. Whether he gets another shot this season is to be determined. If you would ask me today, like I alluded to earlier, Frankie, I think he's played his last game as a Jet. And I hope I'm wrong. I'm wrong. But, yeah, that's just the way I see it.
Well, I think if they let the two guys fight it out, if you will, this year as a backup role. Let them play and then get that ace in the hole where maybe one of those guys you can keep Zach as a backup and maybe let him learn from whoever the next guy. Like when Brett Favre was there, you have these superstar quarterbacks, which the Jets never really have. But when you get them, the guy behind him needs to learn from him and then step on the field.
No, you're absolutely right, Frankie. Yep. And I think Zach Wilson is definitely going to be on this roster next year. We'll get into that a little later, but thank you for the call.
You got it, guys.
I'm looking at Zach Wilson's contract. This is why I feel like I don't think a team's really going to trade for him. I think, what would you really have to give the Jets to get Zach Wilson in a trade?
Not much right now. Not a lot.
So why would the Jets do that when? I mean, maybe if you get a star quarterback, like I don't know if it's going to happen, but Lamar Jackson maybe.
Yeah.
If you can trade for that guy, I mean, other free agent quarterbacks like Jimmy G and Tom Brady's a free agent, maybe. That'd be something, right? But Jimmy G, Geno Smith maybe could come back. Sam Darnold could come back. But that's the crop of quarterbacks we're looking at. Yeah. So I think Zach Wilson, you can't cut him. So
no, definitely not. And I'm not sure if you bring in a guy like Lamar, who's 29. He's young. No, he's younger than that. How old is Lamar, Josh? Just to be, because I want to get a picture.
He's definitely younger than 29 now. Definitely. He's got to be 26, 27.
So Lamar's 26, 27. Okay, you keep Wilson behind him to learn. But if Lamar's your guy, how long are you going to keep Zach as a backup to learn? You trade him probably. Mike White is better off as your backup in case Lamar gets hurt. Because Zach is expecting to start. He doesn't deserve to, but he's going to be looking to go to a team then where he will have a second chance to start. He's not going to be looking to be the backup. I don't know what they'll get for him, but I can't imagine he wants to stay the Jets' backup if that's the case.
You know what? You're right. If it's a star like Lamar Jackson, he's got to get traded. That, no question about it.
No, absolutely. Now, if it's someone like Aaron Rodgers, that's a different scenario. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers at the end of his career, I'm expecting it to. Well, Nico obviously wants it to be the end of his career.
That boy's retiring, so.
Say it is someone of Aaron Rodgers' age, then it's a different story. But if you have someone who's still young like Lamar Jackson, that's when you kind of all right, we should probably trade Wilson and go with Lamar because he is the guy. We don't have to worry about Zach maybe developing into the guy behind someone else.
It's an interesting conversation, and the Jets' future, it's going to be such a talking point from now until we see what happens this offseason. But for now, they play Kirk Cousins.
You like that? You like that?
And the Minnesota Vikings.
Minnesota!
On Sunday, so we'll see what happens there. Want to remind everybody real quick, you are listening to WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College. 90.3 WHPC. It is Joshua Umahi, joined by Brayton Daniello, Franz Compare and Nico each. It's kind of rapid fire through the rest of these NFL topics. We'll get a lot more into the Giants tomorrow, but they host the Commanders, who all of a sudden 7-5. They started 1-4, but the Commanders are right on the Giants' heels here. Thankfully, the game is at MetLife for the Giants. So you have Brian Daboll, who's won countless games due to his coaching this year and motivating these guys and talking to them the right way. He's saying now it's a simple message: the season starts now. So it's been all, lollipops and flowers and roses for the Giants so far this year, but it definitely could get a lot more disappointing than you anticipated 3-4 weeks ago if you don't take care of business against not just the Commanders, but you have 2 games against the Eagles right now, the rest of the season, that look not unbeatable, but they definitely look formidable.
Yeah, because I don't know, Daboll saying the season starts now, it doesn't excite me. It doesn't excite me at all.
Doesn't rally you?
It doesn't. No? It doesn't. Because I'm not expecting much from the Giants. I'm really not. These last 2 games, I was disappointed in them not being the second half team that they usually were. And against the Commanders, I really don't know if we're going to do much. And then on top of that, you mentioned the Eagles. And this last game, I'm forgetting who they played. Green Bay.
Nico's.
Okay, I didn't expect Green Bay to do what they did against the Eagles.
They were battling.
Jordan Love made a nice play, Nico.
They were battling. Jordan Love was doing his thing. But Jalen Hurts was just out there running all over everybody. Sanders was doing his thing when his number was called. And the Giants, our kryptonite is our run defense. Honestly, maybe our defense in general, because what Dallas did to us last game was disgusting. And the fact that we have so many injuries and we don't have a lot of our defensive players, I don't know. I just think the Eagles' offense was, how much did they put up? 40?
40.
So it was very offensive side game.
Joe Barry is...
I'm saying, they put up 40 points.
Some mental disabilities going on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I'm just scared. I don't know what the Eagles are going to do when they face us. They put up 40 points in their last game, and our defense just loves giving up points and yards.
France, it's the run defense and then it's the pass defense, and it's not the Giants' fault. They've had injuries. McKinney's down. You had Adoree Jackson go down, so it's not looking great right now. But divisional games, you might think the Commanders are the favorites, but anything can happen in these divisional games. Right. So we'll see what happens there. As far as Odell Beckham Jr. goes, we heard about the plane incident on I think it was sometime this weekend. He got kicked off a plane. I don't know how the Giants feel about it, but the Cowboys, they say they're unfazed by the news. Of course they are.
Bro,
he's a Cowboy.
You think Jerry cares, bro? Come on.
Nah, low-key, the media
Jerry probably looks at it like more drama. Beautiful.
When I seen this, I was low-key mad, because low-key I feel like the media was trying to paint my boy OBJ out to be that kid he was when he first got to New York, But I don't think it was like that. I don't think this situation was as big as it was portrayed on the media. I mean, what did they say? It was like a medical situation. He was in and out of sleep. Yeah, and he didn't want to get up.
He was just tired and sleeping.
He's driving.
We all know why they're painting him in this bad picture.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it wasn't that big of a situation. If he said he was fine, he could have flew. And then they wanted to take everybody off the plane. Why?
I think the flight attendant just wanted his 10 seconds of fame and was like,
literally.
Listen, if it was Cooper Kupp, we would not be talking about this. That's all I'm saying.
I'm probably right.
You can't tell me I'm wrong. Right. You cannot tell me I'm wrong.
Right.
No, he definitely saw Odell Beckham oh, Odell, you look... Are you high? Bro, he's just probably taking a nap. He's flying from Miami to LA. He's probably just tired. It's Thanksgiving weekend.
He got visits coming up. He got a lot on his schedule.
Exactly. He's got a lot going on, and obviously, like I said, the Cowboys are unfazed. You saw Mike McCarthy say, well, direct quote, they're moving full steam ahead. So they're definitely unfazed by that news. So I think Odell's a Cowboy, but we'll see what happens.
Josh, come on. Don't say those things around.
He's not going to New York.
Listen, I want him to be a Giant.
They lost the Odell Bowl,
but
man.
We're getting
over.
The grass field. He dropped hard eyes on it. We're getting the grass field, please.
Yeah, he's just grasping onto anything right now. Listen, I want to see Odell as a Giant. I think it would be the perfect full circle moment. But as far as situations go, I just think him to the Cowboys is kind of written in stone right now.
He's definitely going to San Francisco.
Yo,
he is spending 2 days with us on the visit, though. We have 2 days. The Cowboys have 1.
Yeah, and you have the sentimental value. If you're a
He's just
Giants
trying to
fan,
milk the Giants. That's all he's trying to do.
if you're a Giants fan, you're like latching onto any type of like sentimental, like he used to play here. We have 2 days of Odell.
Bro, what if he's just trying to use us for goodies for 2 days?
That's exactly what he's doing.
Getting wined and
That's
dined.
crazy, bro.
That'd be crazy if he was doing the Giants like that. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. To recap, Monday Night Football, 2 losing teams.
The play clock management was so piss poor.
You know what, Braden? I'm going to disagree with you because
Really?
I think it wasn't. I think it was overblown because it was Jeff Saturday.
Definitely.
I guess.
I think it was less because it was definitely weird not to use timeouts there. But
Yeah.
they're driving Matt Ryan. I think it was more like weird Matt Ryan stuff. Like the first down is right there. Why are you diving down right before it? And then that last throw on 4th down, like, yo, you're washed, bro. Like you can't even. He's open on the back shoulder. Why are you throwing it to the front shoulder? You're 37 years old. Like you know better than that. The Colts in their little retirement home program of washed quarterbacks, it just has to stop. But you know they'll probably have who were we talking about yesterday, Nico? Who are they probably going to have next year? Matthew Stafford.
Oh yes,
He's definitely going to be a Colt next year the way it's looking.
But no, they have to draft someone and then destroy his career with injuries. So then he retires.
Listen, Andrew Luck was just a little bitch. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
Bruh, don't disrespect Andrew like that.
Are you kidding me?
Andrew went
Look
through
at what
hell
that
and back behind that
organization
And a
O-line
real
that
man
he was
would have
behind.
stayed with his team. Look at Tua. He almost died.
Nico's back. Nico, if they
Bro,
Nico,
Tua
if,
just
oh
hopping
my
off the
God.
porch, bro. Andrew been in a game. All right?
Nah.
If
Tua almost
Nico,
died twice.
Nico,
Twice.
you would have died behind the Colts.
I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying that dude's like over 6 foot. He's a real man. I'm a short king. That's really you can't compare apples to doors. That's not how it works.
You brought up Tua, Nico. Since his resurrection from the dead,
You mean Mr. MVP?
Oh my God.
He's thrown for over 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns, no picks.
He's been going
MVP.
crazy, bro.
That's MVP.
He sounds like me in like 5th grade recess, bro. That was my MVP year. I was going crazy.
Turnover-free football, just clean.
What?
Clean pocket.
I was diming people up, running out the pocket. It was crazy.
Those are the days for real.
Yeah, just no cameras.
Unfortunately. sadly. But you know what? We're talking about the Colts. Yeah, you can knock Jeff Saturday, but it was more so Matt Ryan, the quarterback situation. They just have a lot of weird stuff going on. And it used to be a model franchise when Peyton Manning was there. So
is this like the game that like knocked everybody off the Jeff Saturday train, or you think that train is still on?
I'm still on it.
So everybody's still on the Jeff Saturday train?
I mean, for what he lacks in, football, like Sean McVay mind stuff, he's a great motivator. So I think that's going to work in his favor. And they gave him the interim job. It's interim. He's not the official head coach. He's going to learn the ropes the rest of the year, and they see what they're going to do in the offseason. But that's the Colts story. On Monday night, they lose to the Steelers. Some more news and notes. Von Miller got hurt Thanksgiving Day against the Lions. A really weird report here. They say he's out a minimum of 1 to 2 games, but maybe out for the rest of the regular season.
That's weird. It's
a little goofy.
Is it Uchiwali or one month? Like, I don't understand. Yo, pick a timeline. Like,
Facts.
I don't get that, but Nico, your favorite quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
No. Wait, no.
I'm sorry. Your favorite quarterback, Jordan Love.
Thank you.
Is going to hit the bench this week.
Unfortunate.
Aaron Rodgers says playoffs. I think it's still a chance at the playoffs.
It's crazy how time works, Josh. Everything is a circle. This dude is Favre 2.0. I'm good enough. I'm good enough. I can play. No, stop. Let Jordan play.
You know what?
He's the future.
I feel the same way, bro.
I agree.
Jordan came out and did his thing last game. It caught me so off guard. I seen the text. Somebody was like, "Oh my God, his spiral's so beautiful. I love his spiral." And then I'm watching the game. I'm like, "You're right. That spiral does that is a beautiful spiral." And he was just like, he looked comfortable. He looked comfortable. He did his thing.
He looked a lot more comfortable than he did at times. Last year, obviously, that game in Kansas City, but Aaron Rodgers just raining on all Green Bay Packers fans' parade, saying, I got good news with my x-rays.
That was such a Favre quote. It pissed me off so much.
What did he say? He was like, as long as we have a chance at the playoffs, I'm going to...
Dude, you're 4-8. It's over.
If they win out, do they still have a chance, Nico?
I guess mathematically probably, but
it's like the 1% chance
less
on fantasy
than 1%.
when you're gonna lose, but it's like, oh, it could happen, but it's not gonna happen.
Like, dude, just find a family, start a family, find a woman. Find a dude. I don't know. Whatever you're into.
Go to the corner, Aaron.
You know,
go to the corner.
There was a buddy there. He likes you a lot.
Oh, he loves him.
He loves him. Yeah.
Come on
Just
now.
don't touch his butt. He gets really weird about that.
You're not wrong.
But like,
Aaron Rodgers,
dude,
what can you say?
like, come on. Let go of your life a little bit.
From one weirdo quarterback to another, Deshaun Watson, he's back.
Oh, boy.
Oh my gosh.
In the Browns facility. Hide all the massage therapists. The boy is back in the building.
Low key, like I don't know how I feel about the return. Like, am I supposed to be excited about?
No,
Well,
the dude's a
Browns,
criminal.
they've-
Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, I want to be excited, but at the same time, I feel bad because it was just like it started off with one therapist.
He makes me feel
And
icky.
everything just started
You
unraveling.
think Deshaun going into the locker room? Oh,
Yeah.
Like,
That's him.
do you think the outside noise is gonna affect like how the team chemistry is on the field? I feel like that's gonna
it
affect-
My
hasn't
question
been
is,
great
who are
to
they playing?
begin
They're playing the Texans, right?
Yeah.
I wonder how many bottles of lotion they'll have on the sideline. That's genuinely my question.
That blue medical tent is going to be zipped shut,
Oh,
if
yeah.
you know what I mean.
It's all about the mental warfare.
You know what's funny or not funny? This is actually not funny at all. This is actually not funny in the slightest, but they have some accusers of Deshaun Watson attending the Browns game. About 10 of them will be with their attorney, Tony Busby.
Nah, that's nuts.
why?
Why are they going to be cheering him on? Like, what are we?
I don't...
You're giving the franchise that employs Deshaun Watson more money.
Right. That's where I'm like, I get their reasoning is like, oh, he's not going to walk away that easy. We're watching him, but like
You can watch him on TV. What's the difference?
You're paying the Browns to
give him incentive money.
Exactly. No, watch him. He's going to go out for like 400 yards and 6 touchdowns.
He
and
might, like,
we're all going to cry because
imagine he just scores like points to the crowd. Like that would.
Oh my God!
I literally turn off the TV. Bro.
I'm not in the business of telling victims how to victim, but you know.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll just.
true, but you know, some people just do it weirdly.
I can always count
What do
on
you
Nico
mean
to
by
say the
that?
silent part out loud.
What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that?
I don't think we need to know what I think we understand.
Yeah,
what he
maybe I
means by
shouldn't have
that.
asked that.
Oh, we'll see how he does.
It's one thing to like attempt to burn down their stadium, but to actually pay money to go see the game, it's a bit much.
It's a little.
It's a bit much for me. You know who wouldn't do this?
Who wouldn't do it?
Kevin Costner in the movie Draft Day would never get a quarterback like Deshaun Watson.
He.
That's a real general manager.
Shout out Kevin Costner.
He would just take Bo Callahan, and then he wouldn't. He'd pass on it.
Yep. You see?
Devontae Mack.
Oh, the real life.
Always pick Mac.
The real life Cleveland Browns. What a disgrace.
Oh, my God.
They'll probably win.
He really did glorify that
Kevin
team in that
Costner
movie.
should run them. They'd probably be
really
better than
did.
4-7.
Hey, they could run the table with Deshaun Watson.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I hope not. They could run a table.
Oh, I think that's a perfect note to get to the caller on. Caller, you're on WHPC Sports Talk. What's on your mind?
Yeah, hi guys. Charlie from Flow Park.
How you doing, Charlie?
What's up, Charlie?
What's up?
Good. I know football is king, and that's all we talk about, but can I bring up one baseball question?
Sure, go right ahead.
I think there's obviously a huge story, and it's about Aaron Judge. And I just want to go on record that he's going to sign with the Giants. And I can give you 3 good reasons.
All right, let's hear him.
Number one, he's from San Francisco area, and people love to go home. Number 2, the Yankees totally aggravated him when they announced their offer back in spring training. He's a lot like Jeter in that regard. He doesn't forget things. And number 3, the greedy pig Yankee fans booed him after the historic season he had. That's not a good way to keep someone.
It's
So
not
I
what
think
you
he's
want.
going to sign.
It's not what you want if you're the Yankees. All those 3 reasons are like spot on. And I'm going to add in that quote. I think it was the All-Star break. Marley Rivera was interviewing. He was like, I think they were telling, the young fans, how can you tell them a little bit about how your free agency is going to go? And he's like, well, kids.
He basically said in a way, yeah, I'm out. But he didn't say I'm out.
There's a lot of other Yankees on the team. Like, you'll be fine.
Rizzo came back. So.
And the other thing is, the worst thing that can happen is if the Yankees have to give him $350 million. And you're going to add that to the other two disastrous contracts of Cole and Stanton. So then they won't have money for the other needs on the team, which are numerous. So either way, the Yankees are completely screwed, which, as a Yankee hater, makes me very happy.
Whoa. Nico,
oh my
can
God,
agree.
we're best friends.
Besties.
This is ridiculous. I'm not coming back around these parts.
Come on, man. Stick up for your Yankees. What you gotta say?
Bro, honestly, I can't say much. Charlie came with the facts. Like, I can't even beef with him.
Yeah, no, it's the truth.
Yeah,
anyway,
it is, you know?
Keep up the good work, and I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving. And I listen to you instead of FAN. That's all I have to say.
I appreciate
Thank you, Charlie.
that so much,
take it
Charlie.
easy.
Thank you for
Charlie.
the call, as always. Charlie's always a great call.
The GOAT. My favorite. He's my favorite.
Oh, he's all of our favorite by far.
GOAT! The GOAT!
Actually, him and Frankie might be 1A, 1B. I don't want to shade Frankie. Great call earlier.
They're both
too.
1A.
Yeah.
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 They share the GOAT tier. They share it.
The
goats.
goats. There.
The goats.
They're up there. They're up there. I want to remind everybody, 516-572-7440. You can call up and talk about anything. I know I'm hosting today, but you control the show. If you want something to... If you want to talk about anything, you can call up and say whatever you want. Within reason, please. And sports related.
Unlike Nico.
No, Nico keeps it.
No, he doesn't. He does not.
Yeah, I won't say what I'm about to say.
No.
Let's
Sports
keep
phrase.
it sports phrase. Let's keep it pushing to the NBA real quick. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but the Knicks, I was there. I mentioned it yesterday. I was watching the Saints game. My New Orleans Saints, they were just being ass. I was like,
Mid.
well, let me go to Madison Square Garden and enjoy my night. And the Knicks went ahead and lost to Memphis. So,
But you saw Ja.
I did. Ja Morant definitely put on the show. 27-point triple-double. Had the game-winning spinning layup, miss, rebound, back up and in to put Memphis up by 1. It's unfortunate because Jalen Brunson... Yep, I'm balling like LeBron, son. Shout out A-Boogie. Jalen Brunson's 3 straight games, 30 points. You know, he's definitely on a heater, but it doesn't matter because if you have a star, you're going to beat the Knicks. Even if you don't have a star, the Knicks aren't good enough around Brunson, and you have the two $100 million chumps. And I'm going to say chumps. A lot of people taking it too easy on RJ Barrett specifically.
I hate him.
Because I know he played well when I was there. He's going to play well in front of me.
But he's the guy.
He knows I'm going to be on that.
But he's better than Donovan, Nico. Remember that.
Oh my God! There's no way that dude actually
We
said
should put that on the wall. We should put that on a poster card on the wall with the Anthony Marins. No, it's not there anymore. What happened?
I had to take it down. I hated looking at it.
The coin flip was wrong. That's why.
It's about time the streak's over.
Yeah. You know what? I had on my bucket list, I wanted to put together an intro of like all the worst takes we've ever heard on
So
the
really
show.
just Mauricio and Anthony on like a whole intro by themselves.
Ooh, Nico with the direct body shot.
Hey, listen, man.
You're not wrong, though.
I know I'm not.
Wait,
Listen, if you're going to say stupid things on the air, you're going to get caught.
we'll see both of them later this week, and maybe they'll have some chance at redemption. But
Josh, quick question for you.
Yeah.
Because I know we talked about it before getting on air, but obviously JB's been going crazy. He's been the only bright spot for the team. But the last 2 shots that he took against the Grizzlies, you know, Ja missed that free throw. He left us some breathing room. We know JB's going to take the shot. We knew it was JB. But first shot, first time around, 7 seconds on the clock, he comes through just immediate pull-up. It was open, but he misses it. How does that make you feel?
man, listen, the entire Garden crowd, especially my section, was on their feet. Jalen Brunson had scored 8 straight points. We're going crazy. Wide open. He's making every single difficult ass mid-range pull-up jumper fadeaway that you can think of. He misses the easiest one, the most wide open one, and then he has a chance at redemption. He misses that one too. It just sucked to end the game, but listen, I'm bittersweet on the Knicks. I know they have a game in Detroit tonight. Detroit's banged up. They're going to see their old friend Alec Burks, or Tibbs, son, Alec Burks. So that good for Tibbs, but I don't know. Maybe they win this game, but then you have the Bucks, the Mavs, who just signed, once a Knick, always a Knick, Kemba Walker, the Cavs, and then the Hawks. 2 teams have already lost to. It's not looking great for the Knicks, and I hope they lose all these games because I need to see Tibbs out of here. I just really need to see him out of here.
Honestly,
I need to see him go.
Kind of my feeling.
Maybe
with the Rangers head coach.
Maybe
we'll get to them.
Maybe I hope they lose every game except for the Hawks. I just can't stand to lose to the Hawks. Like, I'm so glad they got whooped after putting up 83 combined points between DeJounte and what's his name, Trey. Oh,
you know
my
his
gosh.
name.
Nah, bro, like, they just irk my soul, bro. Like, Trey's over here pushing people around like he's not like 160, like balding. Like, come on, bro.
Glad you brought that up.
Don't get me mad. Don't get me mad. And DeJounte, bro, like, last time he faced us, I'm not gonna lie, he single-handedly beat us.
Yeah.
But DeJounte, too, like, he's just been wilding since Pro-Am with Paolo. Like, you hating on a youngin', bro.
He's beefing with rookies.
I'm saying, right? He's the
understand
problem. He's the problem. And DeJounte has got on my bad side now.
Yeah.
So I'm now a DeJounte Murray hater.
Yeah, Trae Young, the hairy lollipop over there. DeJounte Murray, you know, maybe he'll play well in the Garden again, and then he'll smack RJ Barrett on the top of the head. Like,
Nah, if he does that, I gotta pull up to the Garden myself, bro.
I gotta put a stop to this one for all. Hey, the Knicks, we'll see how they do tonight. The Nets, what can you say? They got back to 500, but Ben Simmons, left knee soreness. He's day to day.
Ben.
Oh no! What are we gonna do without Ben Simmons?
Yo,
Who
chill,
cares?
bro, chill.
Who's gonna sit on
He's
the,
ass.
Who's gonna sit on the corner of the bench, Nico? Should we call Casper?
Ben shoot? Oh wait, you're not on the court. Oh no.
Oh, poor Ben.
Ben shoot
Dude
from the
sucks.
tunnel.
I feel like Ben Simmons is day to day every day.
Mentally?
Yeah.
He's day to day because WHPC Sports Talk just roasts him endlessly.
Yeah, you know what?
Destroys his ego.
I'll say it once again. People in the high places listen to our show. Don't play yourself. I bet you Ben Simmons has listened once or twice.
Yeah? You think so? Ben, you're a bitch. Straight up.
Yo.
Ben, it's Franz speaking. I'm your fan. Don't worry. I'm here with you. Bro, that podcast, I can never
Ben.
forget it.
Ben? Benjamin?
Benjamin
Come on, guys.
Simmons.
Benjamin David Simmons day to day. But the Nets, they're 2-0 in the homestand. They have 5 games left. They'll probably get their ish rocked by the Celtics, who are 17-4 on a great run. But let me see what else I want to get to NBA wise. Oh, how could I forget?
The Lakers stink!
Who would have thunk?
So the Los Angeles Lakers were up 17 points in the fourth quarter, and before you know it, they lose on a 3-pointer by a rookie. And the Pacers are 12-8 and rolling. But this is about the Lakers. Once again, I just have to. I'm gonna give it one more run.
The Lakers stink!
They are 7-12 right now. They're not going anywhere. I know they were 5-1 in their last 6 games before last night. That's cute.
Yeah.
But you have an old LeBron. AD's gonna get hurt soon, and what can you say? The Celtics, obviously, I said, are red hot. Karl Anthony Towns, though, while the former Nick Porzingis scored 41 points against Minnesota. I don't know how if you're the Timberwolves and you trade for Gobert you allow that, but Karl Anthony Towns, he it looked like he blew his Achilles out, but good news, it's just a calf strain. And, you know, I know he's not from Newark. He's from Piscataway. He's not tough like that. But hopefully we see him back on the court. I don't like to see guys injured,
hopefully.
So. And, you know, the Warriors, they play in the doubleheader tonight on TNT against Dallas. Dallas, who just keep taking the next sloppy seconds. Kemba Walker, welcome to the team. Joining Frank Ntilikina, Reggie Bullock, Tim Hardaway Jr. They're 9-10. It's obviously not working out for them. Imagine like your strategy being your team building strategy. We have to take the Knicks spare parts.
I mean, but like
it's working.
It's working better than it was for us.
Yeah,
literally.
They're just both sad cases. Both teams aren't going anywhere. But a team in the Garden. Yay. Another team in the Garden.
I hate you.
Listen, Nico, I just report the news. Don't shoot the messenger, right?
I will always shoot the messenger.
That's crazy. But the Rangers lost to the Red Hot Devils, no pun intended. They're 19-4. A couple of notes on them. They're the first team in NHL history to win 13 games in November. It took them until February 28th last year to win 19 games. That's where they are right now.
Jeez.
First time in first place in hockey outright since October of 2014. But I don't want to talk about the Devils today. I want to talk about the New York Rangers. What's wrong with the New York Rangers?
What's wrong with the New York
Everything?
Rangers?
Do you want me to go down my bucket list?
What's wrong with the Rangers?
I'm looking right now, Nico, at Jacob Trouba.
Oh, bitch ass? Yeah.
Who should be traded today if not stripped of his captaincy?
Strip him. Wait, whoa. Don't strip him, but like strip the captaincy. We don't, yeah.
Because we pay this man $8 million. You know, Nico, it came to me the other day. We don't have. No, they're not worthy of it. They're not worthy of it. Turn it off.
Okay.
Turn it off. They're not worthy.
All right.
When they start winning again, they'll be worthy of that buzzer. But I watch, and you know what, Nico? It came to me the other day. If we were paying him $3 or $4 million to do this, whatever it is he's attempting to do, which I guess he's attempting to defend because he doesn't do it very well, then maybe no one would bitch about it as much. But we're paying him $8 million till 2026.
Yep.
Till 2026.
Yep.
First off, why is he the captain? Why? Because don't give me his locker room speech.
I
and all
can
this
tell you why. Because him and Gerard Gallant are little buddies. They're besties, and they touch each other because they suck.
And let's not even get to Gerard Gallant, who probably should all. And you know what? I'm not going to say he should be fired today.
No, he should be fired.
No. But here's why. You know what's saving his ass right now? The fact that this team can't play a full 60 minutes, no matter what he does with the lines. No matter. And you know what? A prime example. And I know he shook up the defensive lines. Whoop-de-doo. Great.
Trouba should not be playing a game right now. He is injured.
Unfortunately, Nico, because he's the captain and because we pay him $8 million, he has to play.
He's definitely overcompensating.
Whatever.
You can assume where.
But it's games like Saturday and it's games like last night where I can't get mad at Gerard Gallant because it's not Gerard Gallant's fault. No, but look at me when I tell you this. It's not Gerard's fault that this team gets momentum and then looks at the other team and is like, all right, here, take it right back. You can't lose a game. You go up 3-0 into the third period, Nico. You cannot give me an excuse as to why this team doesn't come out of the game with at least a point. And I knew they were losing the second Evan Bouchard scored his second goal. I knew they were going to collapse. Yep. I knew it. And you know what, to be fair, Igor Shesterkin, unlike, Zach bitch boy Wilson over there is sitting on the bench crying, not taking any accountability. He actually took accountability. He said he said he's ashamed with his play. And to be fair, there's a few goals that Igor, probably should have had the last two games. Bro, so let's not act like this team is not what everyone thought they were last year, which is just Igor, because no one plays defense in front of him except Adam Fox, who might be still he probably is the best defenseman in the NHL right now. Well, I shouldn't, because Erik Karlsson is lighting it up all of a sudden.
True, but he's more offensive than Adam, I would say.
Probably. Well, I mean, look at his stats.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere also, because it's more expected from Fox. But this team's forget the lack of defense and, the jumbling of the lines and everything. They can't hold a lead. If they were up 5-0 at the end of one period, I would go into the second period with the mindset, all right, how many goals is the other team going to score this next period? Because that's just the vibes they give off. This isn't the same. And you know what? Everyone's talking. This team isn't, forget about a cup contender. This team isn't even a playoff contender, Nico. They're not. I hate to say it. But it's just, that's the case. That's the case. And you know what? I called it with the Mets. I said that I saw the writing on the wall. I saw they were going to collapse. It happened. I don't know what's going to happen with the Jets, but the quarterback situation is probably going to come back to bite them in the ass. It probably will. So, and you know what? The thing is, I would feel differently, but what's changing to make me feel differently? What is this team going to do differently?
There's nothing they can do except shake up the lines. But even then, you have to put... You see, that's why I don't like Gallant. Because he thinks Jimmy Vesey should be a first liner. That dude, though he's been great, defensively, I assume, he should not be on the first line.
This team, no, but the thing about it also...
And Kravtsov should be playing.
He should be, because, you don't draft... And that draft class is going to haunt us forever, by the way, if he's going to be a buzz. Unless they trade him for someone, big, which probably won't happen. Because like Joe Douglas and the Jets, I shouldn't dish Joe Douglas. But the Jets, they don't want to prove that their top draft picks were, they were wrong with them. Right. God forbid. God forbid you get someone like a Patrick Kane or a really great defenseman. But this team, just inability to hold the lead, they can't even give it to me straight, Nico. They can't just suck from the first whistle. Right. They can't. No, they have to lure me in. They have to go up 3-0 against Edmonton. They have to go up against New Jersey 2-0 with 2 goals in the first 3 minutes. They have to make me think and then rip my heart out of my chest. Yep. They have to do it. It's so... I don't know where they go from here.
I think they're going to have to play themselves out of the slump.
Yeah, but
it reminds me of last year with Zibanejad, where he couldn't score a goal for his life, and he just had to keep shooting until it went in, and that's what this team's going to have to do.
Maybe.
But Gallant has to put the right lines out there.
Yeah, but
Lafreniere should not be on the third line.
What are the right lines?
You force Laffy to play the right side of Kreider and Zibanejad.
He's proven that he can play right wing.
He has to. You're forcing this kid to be a third liner.
Well, yeah, that's why they can't develop top draft picks.
Because Tanner Glass is your developmental coach. This dude was a fourth and third liner for his whole life.
Don't get me started.
Why is Tanner Glass developing young stars?
He shouldn't be.
He should
I don't know
not
why
be.
he is. But the bottom line is when you stick a guy in the bottom six, how can you expect him to develop? You can't.
This team is a
And
joke.
they did it with Kako, and they're doing it with Loff, and that's what, and that's why these guys are going to be traded like the Sam Darnold package.
If
They're gonna
Patrick Kane is a New York Ranger, Braden, I swear to God, I will not be on the show anymore.
Why are you so against Kane?
Why are you for Kane? The dude has been terrible this season.
Maybe he needs a shakeup. Maybe he needs a change of scenery.
No. I'd rather have
who's-
20 years of mediocrity between Laffy and Kako than Patrick Kane ever be a New York Ranger.
So you just...
His contract is ridiculous. He is
What
a
if it's
bad
at 50
human being.
Okay. What if it's at 50% retention?
No, not at
So
all.
if you have to trade... If you have to make a trade right now, if you're Chris Drury, who are you trading for? Or trading for
I'm
what
not making any
position?
trades, probably. If anything, I'm finding that sixth defenseman.
And you want to know the funniest thing about this also? I was thinking about this the other night. The second Ryan Reeves was traded, which I don't even know why it happened, this team went right back. No, I don't understand why it's traded.
They had to make cap room. He was the casualty.
For what? For what? They're not going to add anyone.
No, because how it works in the NHL, if you have cap room during the season, it builds up before the trade deadline.
But
so they have around $2 million right now. It's going to be around 4 or 5 by the deadline.
All right, so they'll make a small move. That small move isn't digging this team.
Well,
out
I
of a
mean,
hole. They
look
have
at the
to
small
dig
moves that they
themselves.
did last year. Cop,
That's fair.
Vetrano,
That's
Braun.
fair. But you know what? This funny thing is, this team is missing those guys. They're missing Vetrano on the first line. They're missing Cop on the second line. Trocheck's look good, but he still has to get his chemistry together. But here's the thing: you trade Ryan Reeves, and it's not so much. Yeah, I get the whole cap thing. But it's so funny because the second they trade Reeves, this team goes... You see what happened with Draisaitl and Trouba the other night? Mm-hmm. This team goes exactly back to being completely bitch-made.
Yep.
They go back to exactly the same old Rangers that we saw years ago, which is the whole... maybe it's good. Maybe Dolan will freaking have another temper tantrum, but he'll fire Gallant and he'll have Trouba traded and he'll do all these things. The bottom line is this team isn't going anywhere. Let's just say it like it is. And you know what? The funny thing about it is this division is underachieving so much, and the Rangers didn't take advantage of it. They're not even in a playoff spot. So,
and it sucks because they have the pieces for it.
Yeah,
they don't. Could be a Stanley Cup team.
Yeah, but they're
not playing like it.
They're underachieving.
They have to work themselves out.
You know what this reminds me of? The Yankees when they lost to Boston in the wild card because there was so much anticipation around that season. They underachieved. They barely squeaked in, but you knew they squeaked in. They weren't going anywhere.
Right.
And that's the vibes. Even if this team makes it, that's the vibes I'm getting off of them right now. This team is going nowhere. They're not going anywhere with Gallant. They're not going anywhere with their fraud captain. And they're not going anywhere with the lines they have right now. It's not happening. It's not. Yep. And you could see it without their entire lineup. The pieces they're missing, the players they lost in the offseason, it's going to come back to bite them in the ass. Mark my words.
Hey, it's obviously from Braden and Nico. They're not happy with the Rangers' play. I think a lot of Rangers fans, they speak for a lot of Rangers fans right now.
I think you speak for all.
Yeah, I think hopefully they'll bounce back in Ottawa tomorrow night. The Islanders travel to Philly to play the Flyers tonight.
They look damn good. Them and the Devils both look like, what we expected the Rangers to be.
Yeah, nobody expected the Rangers to be the third worst team at this point in the season.
Nope. No. Well, they're not the third. Well, they're getting close to it. They're probably will be soon.
They're garbage.
Hey, record-wise they are, but we'll see what happens the rest of the season. But that'll do it for today's show. Thank you once again for listening to the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC, signing off on WHPC Sports Talk. From Brayton Daniello, Franz Compare, Nico Weech, I'm Joshua Umahi. See you tomorrow, 90.3 WHPC.
Let's do that hockey.